I've been wanting to ask this question for about 2 years. A little background on it. I've gotten the tape of the month since the early 90s. And about 2 years ago, all of a sudden on every tape, and my friends that had tape of the week, it was on that one too. And you said this every time. That, okay, now you have your son exactly where you want him, and he gets a girlfriend, and now he does everything she wants him to do. And the first time I heard that, I went, yeah, no kidding. And, you know, rah, rah, rah. In my own
You know
head.
what she's talking about? We were talking about how a parent often feels better if their child will behave in a certain way. So you train your children to behave as you want them to behave. And just as soon as you get them trained, then he marries some girl, and then he does what she wants instead of what you've trained him to do.
That's right.
And we want to add a little bit of power to that by saying that when you train your children to do things that please you, you've coaxed them away from their own guidance.
Absolutely.
So now they're always on the hunt for someone to please, which means they'll never have anything stable in their experience. If you have a child that says, no, mother, I'm not going to please you, this is important to me, you have trained your child well. In other words, you have trained them to do what matters to them in the closing of their gap. Yes.
Okay, so with each time I heard that, I processed a little more on that subject. Until maybe 4 months later, I got it. I heard it and I went, oh, this is about me telling him how to be or having him please me. So I waited for him to get home from school, and I told him, forget everything I've ever told you, figure it out for yourself. You don't have to believe anything I've ever said, it's your journey. And that felt good because I got that it was me being like that. But when I heard it that time, and when I got what you were saying that time, I was with a friend and I said, you know what, this never has to be on another CD again. And it wasn't. So my question is, I mean, I'm pretty good at figuring out my life now because I've been applying this for so long. And you're such a good teacher. You've given us all the tools. But, you know, we all think you're talking to us when we're listening to the CDs. But I know I'm not the only duck in the pond here. How come that never showed up on another CD?
Because you got it. You see, if you've been hearing us, and you have, when we say to you that your source energy and you come into this body and you know what you don't want, so you know what you do want, so you're sending out these rockets, these constant rockets of desires, which the source within you embraces and becomes. We want you to really hear that your manifestation that will follow is always preceded by the vibrational part of you. In other words, thought vibration always comes first. So what we're saying is this meeting gathered long before your physical bodies got here. And Jerry and Esther noticed that there is a continuity as they move from city to city to city to city to city. It feels like the same group just moved with them from city to city to city to city. But it's because there are thousands of people out there listening to the recordings now. Unimaginable numbers listening and thinking and asking. And so there is a collective asking that we are answering. But in time, the message morphs into another way of explaining it and another way of explaining it, because you'll never stop asking and we'll never stop answering. Sometimes people say so much of the same information over and over and over. And Jerry always says, well, we still don't get it. In other words, we do and we don't, but there's no ending to your ability to apply and get your own results, because words don't teach, do they? It's life experience that teaches. Something more? Were you just wanting to find out how special you are? Is that what the point of all of this is? We're just wanting us to explain to you that we are eternally aware of you, whether you come to these gatherings or not, that when you set forth a vibration of asking, that we are aware of you, that we have watched you every day of your experience, and as you are living life and becoming, we give our undivided attention to what you become, and what happens to you matters to us, and we hold with vibrational integrity the vision on who you have become, and never for a moment deviate from it, holding it endlessly. And when you are wise enough, and you are, to find yourself into vibrational alignment with it, then the need for that no longer exists. In other words, you are a powerful creator, and you are in your singularity important to the expansion of this message. Know it.
I do know that.
Good time for a segment of refreshment. We are complete.
Good morning again. I have a special friend, a good friend from college, and as I come into your material and a lot of other things, it feels larger than life. It feels like there's something beneath it. And how would you describe that sense of that friendship that just beyond growth, beyond, so it just feels like it's more than I can see. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
Well, when you have that feeling, are you talking about the way you feel with this other person?
Well, like he's inspired me to grow. He's inspired me, and then I've inspired him. And then, you were talking about with Jerry, how Esther and Jerry have that one mind at times, and how like every adventure, and sometimes it's not even with him, but it's a lot of people I interact with. It's just that connection you have with that person, or it's that connection where it expands who you are, and you can feel just by hanging out or growing and being involved with that person that it's just not a coincidence. It's just not a friendship. There's intention there that I can't explain.
Well, there are two things that is about, and we're going to give you the most significant part of this first. And we're going to be very deliberate about the way we speak this, because we want you to feel, well, we'll just spit it out. Before you were born, you had one vibration. When you were born, it split a little. If you're ornery, it's really split. If you're in love, you're offering one vibration. And being in alignment with who you are, having vibrationally closed that gap, is the feeling of greatest power and clarity and love. So that feeling that you're describing is about alignment. If you have someone that you care about who maybe they behave in ways, maybe they've always had your back, maybe they've been your friend, maybe they've incited you to growth, but something about them, as you focus upon them, you have the same attitude or opinion about them that the source within you does, so they are a catalyst that causes you to come into vibrational alignment. When you feel consistently that way about someone, it is for one of two reasons. Either you've learned to line up no matter what, which you are coming around to do often, or they have been catalysts to help you line up. Now, the reason that we were wanting to tiptoe into this and lay a really good foundation for it is because all morning already we've been trying to talk you out of caring what other people think and using what they think about you as your reason to line up or not. In other words, because there is danger in that. If you care about what others think, if you have the good fortune of having someone who's tuned in, tapped in, turned on, then they're a catalyst to help you line up. But if there's someone who is in a place of lack, then they are a catalyst that influences you to your separation from who you are. And so we would far rather emphasize that something within you that is already a powerful propensity to closing that gap and being in alignment is enhanced when you're interacting with these people that you are describing. Also, and this is what you're reaching for, and it's big and it's accurate, and you know it, and we'll say it anyway. You come forth in clusters with intentions to enhance one another's experience. And when you meet up with your cluster, it's really fun.
Thank you for the conversations that Source has with me. Thank you for this venue and the opportunity. Thank you.
It is our pleasure. do you know that what is gets most of your attention? And do you know that most of you offer your vibration in response to what you're observing? So if what you're observing is what you like, then that's a good thing, because you just keep holding steady on things that you like. But if what you're viewing, what you're focusing on, what you're getting isn't pleasing to you, then you've got to tell a different story. You've got to envision something differently. You've got to pick through the memory of your mind for events in the past. You've got to observe in the plethora that surrounds you. You've got to imagine with the clarity of your mind the details of your life the way you like them. Now, many would say, this is not a very big thing in the scheme of things. Jerry and Esther have a magnificent life. They are in love. They have magnificent people around them. They have beautiful buildings in progress everywhere. They have work that is fulfilling. In other words, in the scope of what they are about, they have not a problem in the world. They are healthy. They are vital and alive and eager. But their damn breakfast never comes. And what we want you to realize is, if you've got something that's off in your experience, it's really worth it to put it in your mind the way you want it. But more important, this is the thing we really want to say to you. If your breakfast doesn't come, even though other things are going well, and you resent the fact that your breakfast didn't come. Now, resent is a strong word, but when you're in a hurry, it matters. So when something matters and it doesn't work out the way you want it to, it's easy to get into a feeling of resentment. When you resent something like that, now it's not important, is it? But resentment is. Resentment matters, because when you use anything as your excuse to not flow as you really flow, to not be who you really are, and there are several of those things, in other words, as you move through the day, there could be a lot of picky little things. As you move through traffic, people might not move the way you want them to. The car wash might tear off your antenna. In other words, there are all kinds of things that might happen in a day that aren't important in the whole scheme of things, but these picky little things that you use as your excuse to think and feel are what make up the basis of your vibration. And so it's really worth cleaning it up. In other words, we would never, if we were standing in their physical shoes, and on occasion we are, we would never leave a hotel where breakfast had not come without spending at least as much time as it took to receive that breakfast and eat that breakfast, without spending at least that much time finding the feeling place of the way you want things to go. In other words, it's really worth it. Now, sometimes people say, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And we say, you don't have time not to do that. There's such leverage in thought vibration. So if they would take the time to, might take 15 or 20 minutes, might take half an hour, and it would be fun. If they would take the time to clean up that vibration, do you know how many future mornings would be more effective and productive for them? And if they don't, do you know how many future mornings will be hesitant and less than comfortable and not flowing? We're just doing a sales job on cleaning up the vibration. In other words, seems like a lot of time to spend on something so unimportant. But we want to convey to you that you are physical beings, yes, but you are vibrational beings most. And the vibration of your being is what law of attraction is responding to. And there's no point in you not living perfect lives. There's no point in the universe knocking itself out, and it does, to line up all kinds of circumstances and events for you, and you to be out of whack with them because you're focused upon something that in the whole scheme of things doesn't matter at all, you see. Now, many would say, oh, but if all of the big things are going well, then what do these little things mean? And we say, when time is what your issue is, and that is what it is for Jerry and Esther these days. In other words, the more they create, the more important timely things matter, the more important they are. And so everybody sort of has their dominant issue that you are working on, and law of attraction is just reflecting back to you constantly how you're doing.